Hey Kickstarter, I wanted to do a video to kind of give you guys an update, talk a bit about ProtoFlux, answer some questions that you had. Here we go. This is ProtoFlux. This is what it looks like when it's printed. It's a nice kind of satiny black. We think it looks real great. It prints really well under whatever settings you use for PLA. I typically like to start printing and then just drop the temp as much as I can to just help with, bridging and stringing and stuff like that. But I mean, your standard settings on your printer are probably going to give you great results. It's a good finish. We really like it, and yeah, it likes magnets. So here you can see these are not the ceramic magnets, are the stronger ones, and we find that those really are kind of what you want to use. They stick well. It's not like iron, obviously, but because it acts just like plastic. Let's see here. We've got your little compass. I've got this little fish that I've magnetized, and the compass will follow it around. It's not gonna pull on stuff, but it's enough for doing magnetic read and write, which is really neat. And so you guys had some questions about properties, which we've been trying to get good numbers for. And while we're doing that, I thought more applicably is kind of doing some real world examples. So this is about 100 grams. I've got my keys. I've got some change in this little basket, and here is a little 10mm long cylinder of ProtoFlux, and I've got 4 of these magnets, and you see you can lift it up. This is about the capacity for this little example, but about 100 grams, so around 3 ounces, and it can do well, just a bit of ProtoFlux. Again, not iron, but it is an iron. Let's see here. For printing, we usually change our settings up a bit. You want as much of the material on the close to the edge. So I more shells. I'll do 4, 5, or even 6 shells, and surface layers. I'll do 5, 6, 7 solid surface layers, and then try and keep the rest hollow to keep the weight down. And that seems to work pretty well. Otherwise, it just prints exactly like PLA, and that was a real important goal for us, getting it to print just like PLA. Some people have some questions about spool sizes. This is kind of a sample spool that we've developed, and about ½ a pound of ABS, PLA, or specialties will fit on this. And this is what we were thinking of using for the 1.75 at least. We may or may not go with it depending on how it unwinds near the core. There's a pretty tight radius there, and I know that's not always, that doesn't always work the best. And if it doesn't, then we'll use these. These are just more expensive. I hate to put ½ a pound on these, but if we have to, we will. We may need to do that for the 3mm. These are the 8" by like 2", the smaller style black welding rods. They're really overkill, but if we need to do that, that's what we'll do. This is what we'll be using for the 750 gram spools, which is £1.5 pounds, so that's 3 of these. 3 of these will go on 1 of these. So those are the spools we'll be using, and we'll be interested in your feedback on those. And so I still want to do an update specifically on magnetic memory, and we've not tried a whole lot. Here's kind of a little design we've worked up for it, and this is actually the key in the photo on the Kickstarter page. We'll update it with, this is the real key that we use for this, and it slides in there. And we've got 2 Hall effect sensors that are reading the magnetization on these, and that reads it just like a bit. And so I can put 8 8 bits, or just a byte on this key, and as I slide it in, it'll read it, and then I have a little lid that opens up whether or not it's the correct code. And that's real neat, and we'll do more on that later. But we've been doing some work with the Maker Kit, and that's what I want to talk about next. That's going to be fun. So we're going to have a breadboard. We've got these neat little breadboards. They've got they're kind of, there's a numerical and alphabet code that's set for each little dot. And so when we do examples or tutorials or projects, if you don't know anything about electronics, we can still walk you through it. Solderless breadboards are used for prototyping, and we'll be including the wire you can use to hook it up, as well as this really neat sensor. There's a lot of Hall effect sensors, and we looked at a bunch. This is the one that I think we're going to go with. It's real tiny. It's an Allegro A1363, and unlike a lot of linear Hall effect sensors, this one is programmable. It's high accuracy and has a really high refresh rate. And so we're going to put this on a board. Here's just a little breakout board for it, but we're going to come up with a custom board for it. And then you can program it to different sensitivities. I believe all the way from 0.6 millivolts per Gauss to 14 millivolts per Gauss. So that's going to allow for a lot of flexibility, and you'll be able to use it in a lot of different applications. They're more expensive than the other ones, but I think it's going to be well worth it just by how fully featured it is. And so we've got, we're going to include a board. We're going to include a couple of these sensors and some wire and some magnets. A lot of different kinds of magnets, and we're still trying to find out exactly which ones are going to kind of work best for the different projects. This is, we're going to find out what kind of projects, what kind of applications people can come up with, and so we're kind of figuring out which magnets will work best. But we'll include magnets, and then we're not including a microcontroller as of yet. But I got these. These are called trinkets. Adafruit makes them, and this one I think is like $10, and this one's like $5. And this is just an AT Tiny, but it's got the analog sensor that lets you read your magnetic sensor, and so this would work just fine for a lot of projects. And they're really slick. These Arduinos are fine, but they're big, and they're just much more expensive. So we're going to be kind of playing with these, seeing how well they work for our applications, because we've got more Prototech filaments coming. And so we may, depending on how it goes, we may switch to using these, and if we can get a really good deal on them, maybe we'll see if we can throw some in the kits or not. I don't know, no promises. But anyways, so Maker Kit's going to be some wire to hook up your breadboard, and your sensors and some magnets. And then if we don't include a microcontroller, which at the moment I don't know if we will. We'll see. If we don't include one, you can just get your own from somewhere, and then we'll be coming up with projects to get you started doing lots of fun, different stuff with magnetic filament. So I'm excited. Got a little bit of time left on this Kickstarter, and yeah, thanks for watching, and everybody have a good night.